Welcome back to Living Local. We're here at the Genesis Spine and Joint Health Center in Bettendorf, where doctors are on a mission to gain a piece of technology that would be a first in our region, the exoskeleton. I'm joined by Dr. Ryan Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Taylor. So what is an exoskeleton?
Great question. So an exoskeleton is really a machine that we can put on somebody that's had either a brain injury, like a stroke, or a spinal cord injury. And what it can do is it can help them move their legs earlier and safer than anything we could previously have done. And so it's a new technology coming in the last 5 years. If you think of a bug kind of has an exoskeleton. And so it goes around the outside of a patient and enables them to move their legs quicker and sooner.
And how many patients could this potentially benefit here?
It could be a lot. We looked at the data of our rehab unit, and about 60 to 70% of our patients that are in hospital could benefit from this. And so as far as numbers go, it depends on your census, but there's at least 70% of our patients that could benefit from this technology.
And Dr. Taylor, what population would probably benefit the most from this piece of technology?
Probably stroke patients and spinal cord injury patients. And so it allows them to be able to move quicker, faster, and safer, which is really the goal of neurologic rehabilitation.
And you mentioned insects having the exoskeleton, so walk us through what this piece of technology looks like and how it functions.
Sure, so basically at the top end it has a backpack that you put on the back, and that's the motor and the control system. On the back, the braces come down the back side of the legs and under the feet. And what it does is it has joints at the knees and at the hips, and it will move the legs forward and clear the toes and make sure somebody's able to walk with this device. The therapist can control that from back behind the pack to minimum assist to total assist. So it depends on what the patient needs as far as assist, but you can change how much they need, and the machine can recognize how much the patient is generating and adapt to that. So if a patient's recovering and they can start doing more, the machine will allow them to do more.
Wow.
It's really cool.
So it is very adaptable and very strategic in that way.
Absolutely.
You can really work with the patient and their needs at different varying levels.
Absolutely.
Now, are patients able to take this home, or do they need to come to the center to use it?
Correct. No, not yet. Eventually, in the next 10 years, people might get to that technology. Right now, it's quite pricey. And so a lot of them right now are medical grade, meaning that they're in our goal is to have it at our rehabilitation center and eventually hopefully have another one at the outpatient rehabilitation center. But correct, at this point it's used in a facility. In the future though, 5 to 10 years, people may start having these that they pull out of the trunk of their car.
Wow.
But the technology's not there yet.
Sure, baby steps, of course.
Exactly.
So will people using this ever be able to regain full function of their limbs?
Maybe. The thing with neurologic rehabilitation is the true answer is I don't know, right? And so it definitely helps them with neurologic recovery, with plasticity, meaning the brain rewiring itself or the spinal cord rewiring itself. It's safer activity, meaning that for the therapist who's doing it and the patient, there's less risk of fall, and you get repetitive motion, which is important for neurologic recovery. So patients will gain improvement from that. Now, whether it itself actually does that or not, it remains to be seen. Evidence on this is very early, but it's clear that it's safe and it helps in addition to other rehabilitation things that we do currently.
Wow, so definitely a lot to look forward to there and to keep people hopeful for the future of technology and how it can help. And speaking of hope, you're referred to as the Hope Coach. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was kind of panned by Missy Gowie, our foundation leader. And so part of what my job is really to take patients kind of at their lowest level, right? They've survived a traumatic injury, whether it be a stroke, a brain injury, or a spinal cord injury. And it's a difficult time for patients, and I have to be that one to try to lift them up and say, okay, look, we're going to try to make this work. I mean, I know this is not ideal with what you have, but we're going to try to make the best out of what we have and help them focus on the progress that they're making through the rehabilitation. And so, I mean, the patients look to the physician, especially as a rehabilitation physician, for optimism. Right? And that's part of my job, is to tell them realistic expectations, but to be an optimist and encourage them on their journey.
Absolutely, Dr. Taylor. When will our community be able to have an exoskeleton?
Hopefully sooner rather than later. So that's what we're currently fundraising for. I think for our standpoint, we'd like to have it as soon as possible. I think hopefully with the fundraising, hopefully we get it in the next couple of months. I think it would be awesome. There's not currently one operating in the state of Iowa at this point.
Wow.
Des Moines has a couple systems, but different locations, but they haven't had them up and running to what I'm understanding. And so Hopefully very soon, though. I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed, that the community, because this is an expensive piece of equipment.
How expensive is this piece of equipment?
$235,000.
Wow. And so that's probably why not a lot of facilities are able to utilize it. Correct. Because it is such an investment piece.
Yeah, exactly. $225,000 to $235,000. And so it takes a lot of engineering to be able to get it to this. And it's an early product, and we all know as technology becomes more efficient, then it becomes cheaper. But at this point, it's new enough that it's still costly because they have to do research and development. But a lot of institutions are starting to do this. I had experience with it at Mayo Clinic, and when I did my training and other places, that it's becoming not standard of care, but it's becoming pretty common in the rehabilitation setting. And we want to be able to be a part of that.
And how close are we to getting that fund reached to be able to have this?
We're pretty close. As far as 2 days ago, I think we were $130,000 of the 225-ish that we need to raise. So the community's been great. We've had some great big donors step up. You know, every donation counts, whether it's $10 or $20,000. We appreciate it all. But we're really trying to hopefully get to that goal, sooner rather than later, so we can bring this technology to this area, which we currently don't have.
Definitely, and if people feel inspired to donate to this, what would you say, like how their money would be impacting people, the patients that you see and you work with every day and you're trying to provide hope with, what kind of impact will it have on them?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, these patients are at kind of their lowest area at the time, and a lot of times their life. And so you provide hope. It provides a sense of personality back to the patient because they can stand. And they can walk and participate in a conversation in this machine, and it's really just rewarding to see that hope that comes to people when they can first stand up and walk. And I think that for donors, having that feeling that you're donating to a cause that's going to significantly impact somebody's sense of well-being and their optimism to recovering after a big injury or a stroke.
Have you ever been around someone who's been using the technology before?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's their reaction?
It's always fun to see. Yeah, that, like a lot of times, sometimes they'll cry, or sometimes it's just really emotional because maybe they haven't stood for months or something like this, and to see them be able to stand up for the first time, a lot of times, just big smiles, or it's really rewarding.
Wow, and so why did you want to be a part of bringing this to the Quad Cities? Because as you mentioned, this doesn't exist in the state of Iowa.
Right, exactly. So I had experience with it at Mayo Clinic where I did my training, and I saw its uses there, and I thought when I came here, I thought it'd be a great thing to be able to bring in the area. And so I was inspired to, and Genesis has been very supportive of this and very invested in this, and so hopefully we continue with the community's help to continue to work towards this and bring it to our area.
And Dr. Taylor, how can people help and donate?
So a couple different options. One is to go to the Genesis Foundation website and donate through the Genesis Foundation. Short of everything, I mean, basically you just get in contact with us anyway, and we'll figure out how to get you in the right spot, whether it's through my office at the Spine and Joint Health Center, or through the foundation or the website, or there are some online on Facebook and some other donating options that you can do through that as well.
Awesome. Dr. Taylor, thank you so very much for your time.
Of course.
And as he mentioned, if you'd like some more information about how you can donate, you can contact Foundation at genesishealth.com or visit genesishealth.com/give. More Living Local is next.